Hey guys, it's Steve Grant here from stevegranthealth.com, and in today's video I'm going to speak to you about the subject of hypnotherapy and its role in helping with people with IBS and chronic IBS. So reason I wanted to look at this video is because a lot of the time when people present with IBS symptoms, they're often looking for what the physical cause is of those IBS symptoms. So is it a food that's causing them issues? Is it perhaps an overgrowth or an infection of some kind that's causing those issues? And I'm here to tell you that actually a large majority of the time when someone's suffering with chronic IBS issues, a lot of the time there is an emotional, psychological, stress, nervous system component to why they're dealing with those digestive issues. So it's really important that we don't get kind of sucked into there being a particular food or a physical thing that must be the reason why someone's experiencing that. We need to view the body as a whole, and we need to view it beyond just the physical symptoms. We have to also consider the environment and the psychological aspects of their overall health as well. So let's jump into a couple of research papers that I found in this area, and this is an emerging area. It's kind of quite new in the grand scheme of things in terms of looking at the gut-brain axis and how we can influence IBS symptoms. But I found this meta-analysis, so a review of 6 different papers involving 374 patients, which isn't uncommon to have sort of slightly smaller numbers in these research studies just because of the nature of having to deliver hypnotherapy sessions with people. So we're not expecting kind of mass scale studies with treatment approaches like this. But what this meta-analysis found and concluded was that this study provides clearer evidence that hypnotherapy has a beneficial short-term effects on improving gastrointestinal symptoms in patients with IBS. So that's really interesting that we can see that just using hypnotherapy, and I suspect other kind of talking therapies, mindfulness therapy, that type of thing, a lot of these things have probably the potential to really help people with IBS symptoms, certainly the people that have an emotional component to why they might be experiencing those symptoms. Now, jumping into the next research study, we're just looking now more at the longer term benefits of hypnotherapy for IBS. And within this study, they concluded that this study demonstrates that the beneficial effects of hypnotherapy appears to last at least 5 years. Thus, it's a viable therapeutic option for the treatment of irritable bowel syndrome. So again, we're looking now at these 2 different studies, one a meta-analysis reviewing quite a few different studies, this one kind of an individual study itself, but both showing short and long-term effects of using clinical hypnotherapy for people with IBS. So really important that we do kind of, the takeaway message from this is going to be consider the gut-brain axis, consider the brain-gut axis, consider how emotional health is affecting digestive health. You know, when the nervous system is stressed, when we've got issues kind of going on because of perhaps chronic stress, past traumas, that type of thing, this can certainly affect how the digestive system is going to function, and this in and of itself can create physical imbalances. So it's not saying that all of the symptoms are in your head, it's that the symptoms that you're experiencing are still and potentially actual physical imbalance that have been created, but also that they're being driven perhaps by the nervous system, by some of the thoughts and emotions and things like that that people are going through. And you know, we found it particularly beneficial adding clinical hypnotherapy into our practice. So we have a clinician, Jenny, who's a clinical hypnotherapist that specializes in this area. And we found that people with kind of chronic IBS issues that perhaps aren't responding to, you know, classically looking at adaptations to their diet, looking at running stool tests and seeing whether there are any imbalances that we can address, that sometimes, especially when we see in their past, there are periods of stress and trauma, that sometimes these people will respond well to a more kind of like talking therapies and hypnotherapy to help address the digestive symptoms that they're experiencing. So I hope you found that interesting. I think if you are suffering with IBS symptoms, one of the good things to sort of look at is to consider, you know, when you are more relaxed, do you have a reduction in some of your symptoms? Perhaps when you go on holiday, do you tolerate foods better when you're on holiday? Do you have a reduced kind of issue with digestive symptoms when you go on holiday? They're kind of interesting things to look at just to understand if there is perhaps a stress component to what is going on as well. Perhaps there are certain triggers, certain things that go on, moments in your life that kind of trigger up memories that then induce some of the symptoms that you're experiencing as well. Or there's a level of anxiety around certain things that might be triggering off some of the symptoms. This is where hypnotherapy and other talking therapies can really help someone who's suffering with chronic irritable bowel syndrome issues. So I'm going to leave it there, but if you like videos discussing nutrition, lifestyle, functional medicine, be sure to subscribe to the channel. And if you like the videos, then give them a thumbs up as well. Thanks very much.